These stories are not your happy endings, but rather sometimes gruesome and shocking tales. Fairy tales used to be stories aimed both at adult and children alike, and grown-up themes they portray is good evidence of that. I dug deep with this list to find where our common stories come from and what the original dark stories really were. Hold on tight as we dive into these 10 dark and disturbing original versions of children's fairy tales. Number 10. Sleeping Beauty. The Italian's version of Sleeping Beauty is really dark. The king who finds the girl rapes her while she's asleep. She later then gives birth, still while asleep, and is awakened only because one of the kids sucks a splinter out of her finger, which was keeping her asleep. The king later kills his wife, who tried to get him unknowingly eat the children, to be with Sleeping Beauty. Number 9. The Little Mermaid. Hans Christian Andersen's original story has the newly legged mermaid walking but in excruciating pain with every step. If the prince married someone else, she would die and turn into sea foam. The prince married another. In an attempt to save their kin, the mermaid sisters traded their hair for a dagger from the sea witch. If the mermaid killed the prince with it and drips his blood onto her feet, she would return to being a mermaid. She decided not to kill him. Number 8. The Ugly Duckling. Hans Christian Andersen's tale The Ugly Duckling is a famous story world round. The real version has a little chick originally harassed intentionally by the other barnyard animals. He escapes and lives with wild geese who are soon slaughtered by the hunters. An old woman takes him in, but her cat and hen harass him even more than before, so he leaves again. After much abuse and spending the winter alone, he joins the swans who return in the spring. Number 7. Cinderella. In the Brothers Grimm's version, Cinderella's eldest sister, in an attempt to fit into the glass golden slipper in this story, cuts off her toes. The second sister cuts off her heel. In both cases, 2 doves sent by Cinderella's dead mother alert the prince of the sister's blood in the slippers. Though Cinderella was finally found to be the true owner of the slipper, during her wedding to the prince, the doves return and poke out the older sister's eyes out. Number 6. Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. This Brothers Grimm's tale paints a much darker story, with the evil queen ordering the huntsman to take Snow White into the woods, kill her, and bring back her liver and lungs for the queen to eat. Later in the story, the prince and Snow White are getting married and invite all royalty in the land. The evil queen shows up. Unknowing it was her stepdaughter's wedding, she arrives, she's forced to step into burning hot iron shoes brought from the fireplace and dance until she dies. Number 5. Rapunzel. The Brothers Grimm's Rapunzel still features a beautiful girl with her long hair trapped in a tower by an evil witch. In this version, the witch finds the prince has been visiting Rapunzel, who is pregnant. She cuts off the girl's hair and banishes her to the wilderness. The prince returns that night and crawls up the hair only to find the evil witch. She pushes him off the tower into a thorn bush, which breaks his fall but stabs his eye out. Number 4. Chicken Little. Going under the original name, Henny Penny, the original story of Chicken Little features the paranoid chicken gathering up other animals on his way to tell the king the sky is falling after an acorn hit his head. Most endings have a fox invite the animals to its home where it eats all of them. Number 3. Rumpelstiltskin. With the gruesome ending, the Brothers Grimm Rumpelstiltskin tells the story of an imp who makes a deal with the miller's daughter. Her father tells the king that she can weave the straw into gold, but she really can't. So she puts her to do it, saying he'll kill her if she doesn't do it by the morning. The girl meets an imp, and they make a deal. He'll weave the straw into gold if she gives him her firstborn. When the child is born, she can't give it up. He agrees to relent if she can guess his real name. The girl snoops at his house, and overhearing him saying it. The next day, she tells him the true name, and in a fit of rage, he drives his right foot into the ground and grabs his left foot and tears himself in two. Number 2. The Fox and the Hound. American writer Daniel P. Mannix's The Fox and the Hound isn't originally so much about friendship. In it, the fox purposely leads one of the man's dogs onto a railroad tracks where it's hit by a train and dies. Furious, the master trains a dog, the one who befriends the fox in the Disney story, who finally chases the fox so much that the fox collapses out of exhaustion and dies. The dog is close to death too, but the master nurses it back to health before later taking the dog out back and shooting it because he can't have a dog in the nursing home. Number 1. Little Red Riding Hood. Off to the grandmother's house she went, but in some original versions, the wolf arrived to the house early and chopped up the grandmother, putting her flesh in a pantry and blood in a wine bottle. He tells Red to have something to eat, she does, unknowing they are her grandmother's remains. Some also include the girl stripped naked, burning her clothes, getting into bed, and being eaten by the wolf.